All right, let me go over here. I gotta grab my phone to make sure we're going.
No problem. Do I have 1 minute, Rebecca?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna grab water. Ugh.
All right, this is so weird. Hold on one sec.
I used to do this. I think when I first got online, there's always glitches with it, I found. Such is technology.
All right. I'll figure the rest out later. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
I'm ready. That's barn ready.
Well, let's see if it works. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's retarded. Hold on. Permission error. Hold on. This is stupid. Leave it to whatever, Facebook. All right, let me try this. I'm going to back out of here.
I'm trying to remember now because I got.
I'm actually just going to hit pause now since I met you. And today we are focusing on boldly up leveling and all that comes with that. And in her particular case, we're going to be doing a 72-hour sale. Now, I want you to pay attention to the languaging that I'm using, because if you have been coaching with someone else and they're not saying we are, they're saying you are, that means they are not in collaboration to make your business flourish and be successful. So sometimes a lot of people don't pay attention to that detail, but it's really important for you to feel supported as a business owner by the coach that you are working with, whether privately or in a group setting. So today we're going to be focusing on creating a 72-hour sale for Lita and creating a cash infusion for her as well. So it's not like we just create this and then she goes with it. Like, all of my clients have Voxer access to me because business is very fluid. It doesn't fit in a neat little box.
Oh, don't we wish?
And lots of things come up. Lots of things come up. And in the moment, especially something like this, where it's like, okay, we're going to pick the time of the start date for this sale. We're going to pick the cart close, the doors are closing, the sale is over, time period. And in that, it's almost like what's coming to mind, and I hate to use this reference because PBS is not a fantastic company, but it's like the marathon where, for example, Dr. Wayne Dyer had been on there years and years ago. And it's like all the people are in that room, right? And they're picking up the phone and they're selling his like special package that he's selling through that particular network. And that is the energy that is required. Like, it's like 100% devotion. So if you're going to host your own 72-hour sale, what's really important is that you get into that immersion energy. That's where true incredible manifesting comes from. So if you were going to volunteer at that telephone room, as if, you know, people are like picking up phones with cords anymore, but if you're one of those volunteers or one of those paid people who's picking up the phone to accept the sale of this, you know, special because XYZ expert like Dr. Wayne Dyer is giving this a phenomenal package away where the proceeds then used to support the network. You have to have that same energy, but I want you to think for a second, like, what would you say to your family? You wouldn't be home. So as women entrepreneurs, when we work from home, we still have to create those boundaries. So it's going to anyone that may live with you and kind of pretending like, hi, I'm driving to the TV station and I will be unavailable for 72 hours, or I'll be available during this window and that window, or here's what I need in support from you. So notice what step one is here prior to us even ironing out some of the details, because Lita's Voxered me some information ahead of time after the homework assignment of sitting and meditating and connecting with source, because nothing will be created from any other place that will be fruitful. Like if you take a branch and you cut it off from the tree, there will be no fruit coming from that because it's cut off from its source. So Lita's already done that. But the next step, as you can see here, is we're kind of like, it's almost like preparing for a party. And I really encourage you to get into the energy of a party, right? It's like, it's a sale. Oh my God, it's amazing. Like we're going to celebrate. We're going to have so much fun. But the preparation part is just as important as how you're conducting yourself when you are conducting the sale. So the preparation is like, I'm, you know, decorating this room. Like you wouldn't invite guests into your home unless you had like, you know, maybe a bartender, a caterer with past hors d'oeuvres. Like we're talking about like a phenomenal party and people to help out, people to clean up. Like you're getting everything ready. Your house looks amazing. Maybe you rented, you know, tables and chairs and linens and glasses and whatever fancy stuff. And you yourself are getting all dressed up. Okay. And then you go into enjoying that party. And it's the same thing with your business. So a lot of times people try and wing it. And that can work sometimes, but it's not a long-term sustainable business tactic. And so I want you to think about, if you are looking to create a cash infusion, everyone can use a cash infusion. You know, even if you already have like oodles of money in the bank, or you're making, you know, great money, or you had just done a $100,000 launch or something like that. Every business owner can easily use like a $50,000 or any amount of money, depending upon where you are as a business owner, cash infusion that can be used to further grow your business. And through the process of doing this sale, you're automatically going to up level anyways, because it's going to stretch you. It's going to stretch you and force you to face the things that are no longer working in your life. And I just heard a really interesting thing last night. You'll love this. So apparently, so historically, when women have had their menstrual cycle and they've been told like, oh, you're bitchy, or, oh, you're just edgy, or, you know, you're on edge because of your hormones, or, you know, whatever. Apparently right before you get ready to menstruate, and even if you no longer menstruate, you're still going through cycles. So I don't care if you've been through perimenopause and menopause and all that stuff. Women still go through cycles. We're very much connected with the cycles of nature. It's actually a clearing out window. Every month you have this window of looking at what is no longer working in my life, or what is no longer working in my business. And so that kind of like forceful or fierce feminine energy, I guess I would call it, because it certainly is not bitchiness, folks. That fierce feminine energy is you actually go like you're feeling the energy of that, but you're not. I never put the dots together until I heard this last night. It was like mind bending. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what it is. And this happens for me a lot too when I travel, and I'll come up with like a checklist, and it's like, you know, I'll come like historically I would come home to my sons who are now 15 and 18, and I would be like, everyone's up leveling, everyone, like sit down at the island, we're going to have a conversation, and like this is how things are going to be from here on out, and so on and so on and so on. but you have to constantly be doing that. And I really loved the analogy of this last night, because I think a lot of times business owners will wait for that up level to occur instead of facilitating it for themselves. You have to constantly be making yourself extremely uncomfortable in order to evolve to that next level of where you are meant to go. And astrologically speaking, we are in that time period right now. It is a global thing that is going on for us to catapult like hugely. And sometimes that happens in a quiet period. Sometimes it happens in an organic way. And then sometimes you're the one facilitating that occurrence. So let's go back to what you sent to me, and we'll go ahead and dive in. So Lita, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about you and what you do, and that way they'll better understand what it is that we're creating for your company.
Oh, okay. So I am a fitness entrepreneur, and I work with people one-to-one personal training and group fitness classes, specifically more so with people with Parkinson's. And I am working on leveling up to manifest my dream house and dream business, farm and fitness retreats here in Newfoundland for people 55 and above. So that is it in a nutshell.
Okay, so yeah, and you have two arms of your company as well. It's like the Parkinson's aspect, and then you have the personal training, nutrition aspect. And you really, from my experience of knowing you for this long, I've watched you help facilitate truly miraculous results for your clients on both arms of your company. So that's just exemplary. All right, so let's take a look here. So we've got a 21-day package with a home nutrition kitchen revamp. For those of you who are listening, remember, this is a 72-hour sale. So as soon as we say whatever, if you are interested in doing the 70, partaking in what Lita is offering, which is going to be at over 50% off, then you can comment below this video and I will get you in touch with her directly. Okay, so a 21-day package at home nutrition kitchen revamp, go through virtually over 1 hour, meet and greet, what's in their kitchen and label reading, daily energy check-ins using WhatsApp, guided workouts. I will film a few beginner weekly workouts for them to follow along, and then a 30-minute technique and mindset. And then when you say face-to-face check-in, I'm assuming you mean visual or virtually, like this on Zoom.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Coming soon, in-person workshops in Newfoundland, though. Stay tuned, everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
200 Bryant's Cove.
Totally, right? Okay, so I want to make this. So what she's also, I want you to notice like her thinking. She's saying, I also want to make this a systematized flash sale. Now, you don't want to do flash sales like every month, obviously, because you lose trust with your audience. So if you're telling someone like, this is the deal of a lifetime, or I've never done this for a really long time, or like, it has to be true. Like, you cannot live in this world anymore unless you are living from a place of authenticity and integrity. It is literally that simple. Okay, so let's see, we got, so she can repeat it again and again. All right, then. But for a sales promotion over 72-hour period, it will be something like, because I'm testing out a better way. Okay, so here's where I want to just say something. So what she texted to me in the Boxer, it's like I said, my clients have not 24 access, not 24-hour access, but daily access to me on Boxer. Okay, so it says, because it's something I'm testing out, a better way to help people with their health, I am offering 10 spots for a ridiculous bargain price, and we'll get to the price in a minute. However, what I notice here, because I'm meticulous in the up leveling, and what I see here is I feel like I need to explain myself to justify what I'm doing. So when you say it will be something like, because I'm testing out a better way to help people with their health, I'm going to invite you to move further into your power, where you just do things as a woman leader and you don't need to explain to anyone why you're doing it. Does that make sense?
100%.
Do you feel the frequency of that?
Yeah, it's owning what you're doing and not
100%.
having to justify anything to anyone. It's like that word sorry. Like in Canada, we say sorry a lot. It's a Canadian thing, but it's
Totally.
like, why are we always saying sorry? Because we're always feeling guilty for something. We're not just, if it's a genuine something, you accidentally hurt someone, okay. But like you were just saying sorry for just whatever ridiculous reason, you're not, you're just always justifying what's going on in your movements and patterns.
Yeah, and I heard this a long time ago. This is an ongoing practice to switch out your sorry for thank you. Try it
So
today.
thank you for looking at this offer right now and this special that I'm offering for 10 people to help your health, because your health is your wealth. And at the end of
Oh
the
my
day, if you want more
God.
wealth in your life, look after your health.
Right? The best quote I ever heard, and I forget who it is, but it's most people sacrifice their health in the first half of their lives for wealth. And then they spend the second half of their lives spending their wealth to get back their health. I would lead with that because we are living through one of the most prolific global times. And it is the highest level of currency is your optimal health. So this is recording. You go back and get this because these are taglines. These are bullet points. They're being channeled. That's how I work in all of my coaching sessions. They're 100% channeled. I tune into the energy and I see all the minutia, all the details. You can't hide anything from me, right, Lita? You know that.
No.
I will pick up on every single little, like, you name it. I literally like feel the energy I read between the lines. That's how I like paused for a minute because, here's a great example. If you're not working with a coach who can catch these things, who's operating at a super high level themselves, then you won't be able, something will happen. You'll sabotage or something will happen to prevent you from getting to that next level because the blocks and the obstacles tend to be in the minute details and the hidden things that you cannot see, which is why it's so critical to have a coach to see the things that you can't. But a lot of coaches don't have that skill and that level of mastery. I've been in the coaching industry for 11 years, over 11 years now, just as a side note. Okay, so hold on, I want to tune back in. There was something else I was going to share with you about that. Okay, so yeah, like that go back, we're going to go back over, to clip out this recording once I email it to you later and go back and grab those, like the fact that we are living in one of the most prolific times in the history of all humankind, and that the highest frequency, the highest level of abundance right now is not currency, like money, credit cards, whatever. It is your optimal health and your level of purity. We're all going through a purification right now. And so the people that you're going to help, the 10 people that you're going to help through this experience, they're going to be ready for a next level of purification to have that that magnitude, that heightened level of their optimal health. And you cannot put a price on that. You cannot put a price on that. So think about that quote that I just said, where most people spend the first half of their lives compromising their health in order to gain wealth, and the second half of their lives spending their wealth in order to get back their health, which most of the time they don't.
No.
So this is the energy that you have to tune into for this incredible deal. Because if you tune into that energy and you are being able to convey to people, this is priceless. this will never happen again. Because the next time you do a flash sale, it's not going to be at this price because you're so expediently up leveling. Your investment amounts and all of those things will also continue to be up leveling. So if you do another flash sale in 90 days, and I don't recommend doing flash sales any closer together than maybe even every 60 days. And if anyone has questions and they're watching this, you know, feel free to put something in the comments. I always come back and check and answer the comments, and sometimes even hop on Zoom with people spontaneously and help them out. No problem. So yeah, I want you to think about that. So my point is that if we run this again in 60 days, or we run a flash sale again in 90 days, even though you're saying the normal price now is $1,000 or $2,000 or $10,000 or whatever it is, that next time around, that regular price that you're giving the sale from as a reference point will never be, like, that might be the flash sale price next time. So I want you to like future pace, because that's really important as a business owner as well, to be able to future pace and already to make a decision. Because what happens when you do this is you harness this conviction. And we've talked about that on a lot of other coaching sessions, to really harness that level of conviction. And this happened to me actually like right before I met you, when I came to Canada to do a speaking presentation on wealth. I had a coach that told me to go sell 10 $2,500 90-day coaching packages. This was back in 2013. And I was totally irate at her, at my coach. I was like, what the F are you talking about? Like, my packages are $4,000 right now. Why would I go sell them for $2,500? And I'm not going to get into what she specifically said to me, but the point is it lit a fire under my ass that was so hot that when I was conducting sales calls, I had so much conviction around the deal. And that's what you have to tune into. So if so notice my reaction was I was valuing myself and my services probably above 4,000. Okay, but I was still charging 4,000. But then to drop it to 2,500, that was like, oh my God, you are an absolute stupid idiot if you do not buy this right now, like freaking hotcakes. And I made $25,000 and sold all 10 spots within 2 weeks. Now, that wasn't a flash sale. That was literally just a challenge that she gave to me as her client. So, but it is in many ways, it is similar. Okay. So I want you to tune into that energy, and I need you to tune into that energy now and daily.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So how are we feeling? Like, give me a pulse on where you're at, like energetically, and based upon how this time together is going so far.
Excited. I'm very excited. Like, from the time 3-4 months ago we started working to now, it's like completely different energy, like daily, every time tuning into it. Still things always to work on, but that's just a part of growing in life. But it's constantly here, and here. So I'm feeling really excited about this. Like, it's like that fear-based thinking kicked in a bit in the morning, but then just breathing through it and being like, no, this is exciting. This is awesome. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be, and then where I'm going.
Okay, perfect. So this is the key, because you want to be operating as if it has already happened. You're operating from the end. Like, anytime we're praying or visualizing, we're doing it from the end. So a lot of people do like praying or asking for things like from a Santa Claus mentality, where it's like, please, bestow miracles upon me. It's like, no, it's like, thank you for the miracles that are bestowed upon me. You are proclaiming it. You are declaring it. And you're getting into that energy. So there have been times in my life where I've had huge launches and made tons of money, and I felt so giddy, like a little girl, and was just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And more so, what really like drives me even more is helping people. Like, to me, the money is just, it's a side effect. It's like a bonus, right? But to me, the real currency that fuels and fills me up in every level of being, in my soul, in my heart, in my purpose, everything. What really fuels me up is helping to transform someone at radical levels. And that's, I've been doing this for over 11 years now. Well, I've been doing it for longer than that, but officially coaching since March of 2010. So that energy, right? When I'm like, oh my gosh, like, 10 women just signed up for the, this package or whatever. That giddiness in the moment where it's already happened, that's what you need now. So there have been so many times where I've created something and I tune into the energy of it and I visualize it and feel it and experiencing it as if it has already occurred, because you have to be that next version of yourself now. Let yourself feel giddy. Let yourself scream and squeal with the excitement. And you don't have to do it on camera right now, but daily, like, you're like, oh my God, it's amazing. Like, you get to help 10 people obtain the highest level of currency, which is optimal health. Optimal health. And not just what else is priceless, what else is priceless. Oh my gosh, these people are going to cultivate, create, and keep habits for the rest of their life. Then go think about this, because you want to think about your wealth ripple effect, because it helps you value what you're selling even more. The wealth ripple effect for these people that you're helping, well, are they sharing this with their spouse? Are they like doing it alongside with other family members? How is their children's lives going to change? When they're not intoxicating themselves with half of the poisonous crap that's put out there in the market that blocks you from source by calcifying your pineal gland. That's even more priceless, right? It's not just the person that's doing it, but it's how they transform and then transform those around them. That's what's amazing. That's what's miraculous. All right, so let's just touch upon the numbers, because what you said was it was a bit fuzzy.
Well, because that's my fuzzy in terms of like my money programming. Coming from more of a scarcity poor mentality in my family, it's always something when I feel like I should be asking for more. I always go to the end of asking for less. And it's, especially in the last like 6-8 months, it's really been frustrating me, because I know what my worth overall and the amount of years and experience and knowledge that I have is extremely, extremely, extremely rare. So I don't know why I'm undervaluing myself. So that's where that fuzziness comes from.
Okay, so I want you to tune into where else is this showing up in your life, not just with money.
Certain kinds of boundaries that aren't structured the way that I would preferably like them. They're getting better, but they're not quite still the way that I would prefer them to be.
Okay. So a lot of times what happens is people think that this is a money thing or like a scarcity thing that's connected to money, but money, as we know, is just currency and frequency and energy. So it's really the core solution. And that's another thing that I do in my coaching with women, is that we get immediately to the root. So the transformation is that much more quick. So getting to the core, and then of course you obviously have to be the one to facilitate that transformation within you. So the acceleration of it is really in your power. So it's really getting on a deep level the true divinity of your own nature. So we think it's a money thing, or we think it's a something outside of us, but we have reached a threshold very recently where you can no longer go out there to fix the problem. So I'm not saying you don't get help, you don't get support. Obviously, there's a tremendous value to receiving high-level coaching like you are. But the ultimate transformation, so out there, meaning like the coaching or whatever else, is the mirror. But ultimately, it's you going in here and embodying a higher level of your own divinity. Like the way that we have historically worshipped outer deities, if you will, or deities that, you know, might be in your mind or however, that you have to bring that level of sacred reverence for yourself and for your business, because people are abusive to their business and they don't even realize they're doing it. They're abusive to themselves and they don't even realize they're doing it. It comes through, how am I talking to myself? What are the stories I'm telling myself? We talked about that on your session the other day, where it's like, I'm no longer available to tell this story because it isn't serving my highest level of empowerment. It's actually a story that's disempowering me. It's actually self-talk that's disempowering me. It's actually a thought that is disempowering me. So anything that is disempowering you, those structures have been blasted apart. So it's way overdue time to get on board with, I honor the divinity within me. I now honor the divinity within me, and I will no longer extort myself in ways that dishonor that sacred divinity. So I want you to just feel the energy of that for a minute. I feel like everyone has probably at some point or another had an experience where they have stepped foot onto sacred ground, if you will. And for some people that might have been a church. For some people, it might have been a vortex. For you, what is it?
Have I stepped on the sacred ground before?
Mm-hmm.
And that feeling? Oh, it was the Viking ruins in St. Anthony's and the west coast of northern west coast tip of Newfoundland.
Okay,
That's
I think
that energy felt like that.
Okay, that's who you are. So close your eyes.
Yeah.
And just feel. Yeah, for sure. Freaking Viking.
I know.
Yeah, 100%. So just tune into the power of that. Feel the sacred reverence that you had in that moment at that place. And now use that to feel your own powerful sacred energy. So the next level is you bowing to yourself in awe of your divinity, your divine purpose, and how you help facilitate transformation that impacts generations and other lives in this lifetime and through this 72-hour opportunity.
It's exciting.
Yeah. So this is like, if you sit in meditation with this, I will guarantee you, you will come to tears. That's when you know you've hit the sweet spot. That's when you know, oh my gosh, I am in such awe of myself. I am honoring myself at the highest level of sacred reverence. And what people avoid is taking the time to do that. And you only need to do it for a minute or two a day. You're just connecting into divine source and honoring the divine source within yourself and the mission that you have on the planet to impact and help facilitate transformation of the highest level for other people. So that's part of the work. It's not just like, okay, let me pick up the phone or let me email a bunch of people or send out a bunch of email blasts. Like, that's the energy you have to stay connected to, because at the end of the day, That's what people are purchasing. What prompts people to say yes and to pay with no question and also be enthusiastic. Like I've always said this for years, and every single one of my thousands and thousands of clients from 11 plus counting countries around the globe over the past 11 plus years is my clients pay in full with enthusiasm. Now, does that mean that every single client I've ever had pays in full? No, it does not. Okay. Am I all right with that? Yes, I offer payment plans. But the point is that I've only ever had clients who have paid and invested in their coaching with me with enthusiasm. And the reason is because I have cultivated and emanate that energy myself. So that's what people, I swear to you, every single person I have ever worked with, and you should be doing this as a business owner if you're not, always asking, what made you say yes to working with me? It's really important for you to know the answer to that question, because then you can go and market from that energetic standpoint. Every single time people have told me, I don't know, it's something about your energy. I can just feel you. I can just feel it was how you were, and like, of course it's things that I say very amazing, high level wisdom, mastery type things, because I'm being a divine channel for whomever it is that I'm working with or speaking to. But a lot of times people will come back and their answer is, I don't know, it was just something about your energy. So they can't quite put their finger on it. So this is why it's really important for you to be conscious of the frequency that you are emitting, because that's what calls people in. It's like that dog whistle. And you are the only person in the entire world, Lita, that has this unique dog whistle. No one else. This is why I don't believe in competition. There might be other people out there doing the same thing that you're doing, but they do not have your unique energetic frequency, signature, fingerprint. Does that make sense?
Oh, 110%. That one makes sense.
Yeah. Remember, an A+ for sarcasm. That's part of your unique
Well, that wasn't
energy.
sarcasm. I'm freaking just who I am. Everybody's a unique individual, but I'm just who I am is very different compared to most.
100%. Okay, so we're going to go down. So now she's saying, I wanted to relay, my ego did blank, blank, and blank, and this is what happened. I'm not going to get into the personal details in public right now. It doesn't matter. The point is that we need to know that just expect that part of you to show up. Okay, it's like that part of you is like, no, you give me the keys to the Ferrari. No, you give me the keys to the Ferrari. And you have to be the one who says, excuse me. Like my very first coach was so cool with this concept, because she taught a methodology, or she was a facilitator of a very phenomenal methodology called inner bonding. And it's like the wounded self wants to run the show. And she would always say, give that part of you a job. So it's like, you go figure out the marketing. You go figure out how to end this bad self-talk that's going on, because you're the one creating it. Like whatever it is, like give that part of you a job. So it's not enough to just be like, oh, great, here's the saboteur. The saboteur just showed up. It's an archetype. Everyone on the face of the planet has a saboteur. It is a proven fact. You can go talk to Caroline Mace if you don't believe me. I've done work with her for years. And so I just expect that part of you to show up. It's like the annoying person at the party where you're like, oh God, this person had to show up. Like everyone's been to a party where they're just like, I was really hoping you weren't going to come. So you just notice that person and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, could you go take the trash out? Or, could you make sure everyone's like getting an appetizer or getting themselves a drink? Or could you put silverware on the back patio table? Like, give that part of you a job, because then you're pure in your highest integrity, highest level self, showing up to do what you need to do as the leader of your company. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And you get to say no thank you to that part of you, right? You get to say, okay, that's great. No, thank you. Like one of the things that I've started doing over the past year, which is so funny, a lot of times when I'm outside, because I have been on a journey to be at peace with all of nature for many, many years now. If I end up with like, even down here in Florida, there's a lot of little mini mosquitoes. So far, I've only had 2 bites. and they are like everywhere. Like they land on your forehead. I mean, I'm walking on the beach and they're just landing everywhere. I have just begun to say, no, thank you. Like over the past year, even at home in Maryland, I'll be like, if, anything, it's like, no, thank you. So I'm at peace with that aspect, because that's really what's important here, is that if you, and one of my friends did this, one of my friends and former clients years ago, he went to Costa Rica, and one of my other friends that had been there was like, oh my God, you basically have to walk around with like a mosquito net around you. And Evan was like, no, I just made peace with all of nature, and everywhere I go, I don't ever get bug bites. And I was like,
made peace with the bugs.
yeah,
Sorry,
I'm like, what kind of voodoo? I'm like, what kind of voodoo shit is that? But it's like, I'm doing it and it's working. So the point is that you have to make peace with that other aspect, any other versions of yourself that show up to want to, take the wheel of the Ferrari, if you will, or the keys of the Ferrari. You just acknowledge that part, and you're like, I love you, and you're not the one running the show here. Thank you. Go over here and do this. Okay, so just be aware of that in everything that you're doing, because it is important to have peace with those aspects of self in order to evolve to the next level, and the next version of you. No one is immune from this. Like, I have literally worked with clients all over the globe who are at all levels of business, 6, 7, 8, 9-figure businesses. Okay. And I had this concept back in 2013 when I was working with a company and helped to facilitate a $4 million launch. And I remember asking the part owner, and I was like, oh, well, now that you've made X amount of dollars, you have like multiple 7 figures now, like you're good, right? You just have no more problems. And he just started laughing hysterically. He's like, are you kidding me? They just change, and that voice shows up louder. But if you know how to transform it or transmute it, then you can move through things so much more quickly and get to manifesting the results that you're desiring. So just pay attention and be aware of that. And then the last thing about, and you mentioned this on the call, so I'm going to be in integrity and just, honoring your privacy with the other thing, which is why I'm saying the sabotaging pattern. We're not going to get into how that showed up for you, because that's your own personal business. But when you say what scares me is that I have this money pattern, and we already kind of addressed that, where it's not a money thing. It's actually, I'm not honoring my own divinity thing, because the receiving comes from staying in that power, knowing that, money is currency, currency is energy and frequency, and that you deserve to receive that at the highest level. And that it is absolutely 1,000,000% okay, and actually required to get to the next level, to claim that. I had a shaman years ago tell me, Rebecca, you can say like, hey, God, it's hard here to do my purpose, and we need money here on planet Earth to do our purpose. And it really helped to facilitate a transformation within me way back in 2011, to really ask for and then open yourself up to receiving what is required for you to do your work. So it's like the tools, like you couldn't do this without a computer. You can't conduct the packages within the 72-hour sale without the computer. But you don't have like an energetic charge or a relationship to having a computer. You just went out and you got a computer, right? That's your business equipment. So if money is your business equipment, then you just open yourself up, just like you went out and got a computer, and now you're going to go out and say, this is what I require for my next level of entrepreneurship. But you don't give it a charge. It's not a trigger for you anymore. It's just a tool, just like your computer. It's a tool, just like a virtual assistant. It's a tool, just like, so you're literally saying, here's the deal. And you know my story when I was in Paris in 2013, and I was like, here's the deal, God, I need at least 10 grand coming in every single month in order to continue doing what I'm doing. And that occurred with a lot of mindset work, a lot of coaching, and a lot of transformation. But that was me saying like, okay, we don't have a store here where it's like, okay, I need, $100,000 for my next launch. Sometimes you can go to the bank, depends on what you're doing. We've had that conversation too. But other times you just need to say, this is the next group of things that I need to grow my business. And everything is not in the 3D world, okay? It's not like you can walk into Apple and just, be like, okay, I'd like to order 50K for my next level of growth in business. But we are not just 3D beings, right? We are energetic beings. So we have the ability to ask for, in non-physical form, the manifestation of it coming in physical form. And then you have to be like the hands off. We've talked about that in the Leveraging the Universe book that Mike Dooley did. It's like the pitch is out to the universe. It's like, is this store going to, is this channel going to be the channel that brings me that business equipment, AKA money, paper money? Is this store going to be it? Is that like, and you just keep going until you facilitate the results and you become relentless because you've already realized that happening, it already happened, right? If it already happened, then you're going to be relentless. You're like, I already see that result. I already felt that result. I already know there are 10 people. So then you become relentless within the next 72 hours to facilitate that. And you draw upon the conviction that you've created that you are valuing this at such a high level, monetarily and energetically and transformationally, because of the results that you're helping to facilitate with your clients and the generations to come after them that it will impact forever and ever and ever. So now do you see how we're taking the conviction, linking it to the divinity within you in this moment, and you're literally pulling that future vision and future version of yourself into this now moment. So it's like the Trinity, right? It all comes together.
That's really pretty.
Okay, so yeah, and the last part of this, the logical, my logical part says do this and do that, blah 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 blah. And when I read that this morning, I was like, how's that been working for you? Because the logical part is not ever the part that facilitates those quantum leaps. I would not be here in business and where I am in my life with all of the amazing things. And it doesn't mean I don't face challenges. I most certainly face challenges and I embrace them because they are the things that facilitate even greater transformation. So I love being stretched and challenged by the universe to make me a better version of myself. But the point is that that logical part of you is never going to lead you to pulling your dreams into your current reality, ever, 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 ever. My greatest growth has always come from taking risks, doing things outside of my comfort zone, scaring the living crap out of myself, or allowing the universe to scare the living crap out of myself. And that is where those huge miracle moments have been opened up for me as a result. Logical people stay in a metaphorical cubicle, if you will.
There's a selling point. Do you want to get out of your metaphorical cubicle?
You're living in a metaphorical cubicle? You might think it's like 2,500 square feet, but really it's like 2 square feet. Okay, so how are you feeling about all of this? Because I'm super duper excited. Now we need to just come up. Now that we've gone through all that, we're going to actually talk about some of the logistics. We know that it's 10 people, but let me take a pause and see where you're at. And if you're ready to bang out the last part of this with the details, we're going to pick the start date, the end date, and then you're going to be like, this is hilarious because what's coming to me is like a hornet, like a relentless hornet that is like, just like going after it, man. No wonder it's called to wear bees stuff today. And I have Be Yourself coffee mug.
Oh.
I have a bee ring, another bee ring. So let's just do a little check-in and then we'll go into the details of the execution.
It's something like I'm really, really excited to do this.
Awesome.
And step right into it and forget the analysis by paralysis or paralysis analysis type deal. And just walk it out. And apparently sting 10 people.
Say that again. Apparently what?
And apparently sting 10 people. I'm going to hit you with the sting of hell.
You could have just attracted them with your pheromones, right?
That?
Bees and hornets are all about pheromones. So how does the queen bee do? Right? How does she attract all the bees to her? They are like Looney Tunes for her pheromones. The queen bee is just sitting, right? That's you and your sacred divinity.
Yeah.
And if you're putting out that frequency, in the case of the queen bee, it's a pheromone, and those bees are going bonker ballistic for getting to that queen because of the pheromone. That's the law of attraction. Not that it's really a law, it's a methodology. It's not a true law of nature, folks. That's a common misconception. Okay, so notice how much energy and time and effort we put into the majority of our time together. It's because 90% of you making this happen is your energy. 10% is the logistics. Like, people are like, what are the benefits? What are the results? And they get all hung up on that. People aren't buying that. They're buying your energy. They're buying your confidence. Because sometimes people need to borrow your confidence. It might be like, Lita, I've tried all these other things. I've cleaned out my kitchen. I've done this before. Blah, 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 blah. Name every objection to your sale, okay? Ultimately, what they're buying is your confidence in your service to help them facilitate their dream, their desire, their ultimate health. So this is where so many business owners get mistaken, because they're putting so much energy and effort into like putting it all up on the Post-it note, right? Like, who cares? That means nothing. I've sat through so many freaking mastermind sessions where people wrote shit on a freaking Post-it note and they get all excited. And I'm like, let me go see you manifest that, because they don't have the tools or the skills, and they haven't cleared out the other BS that's required in order to make that a reality. And all they're excited about and all they're connected to is a fucking fantasy. So that's why we work this way, because this way gets results. We could spend an hour and be like, oh my God, and it'll be so wonderful, and you can charge this and do it for XYZ amount of people. Again, I've sat through a lot of masterminds where I've watched that happen. And generally 2% of people out of maybe 400 are actually living the reality of what was put on that Post-it note. But that's what I do for my clients, because I don't want anyone to just be experiencing a high. It's living with the results, living from the results. And 90% of my clients facilitate phenomenal realities of miraculousness because of our work together. That's my dream. That's my vision. That's my intention. All right. So now that we've got that clear, when are you starting the sale?
Next Wednesday.
Okay. And what time?
Um, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And ending it on Friday at what time?
6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And the majority of your clients are from where?
Ontario.
Got it. Okay, I like it. Okay, so that means that starting when, you're going to be reaching out to over 100 people, 100 people minimum.
Starting that Monday, like just giving people a heads up.
Okay, so why not today?
Yeah. There is no reason
Okay,
not
so it's
today.
11 people a day. It's
Yeah.
11 people a day. And if you want off a day on the weekend, then it's 13 or 14 people a day.
Okay.
So make your list. Do the low hanging fruit first. You can offer a bonus to the first 5 people to get the energy ramping. So 11 people per day today through Friday, the 23rd. So what time every day are you going to devote uninterrupted time to be in that energy and reach out to these folks?
It'll be like lunchtime.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think.
So I would say
around the
60 to
classes.
90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes a day.
Okay.
Because once you get through the first day, you're going to be going back and doing follow-up.
Yeah.
So the first day is just initiation, but the days after that are going to be initiation and follow-up and cultivation of the relationships. But this is like an act now thing. And you need to literally let people know how many other people you're reaching out to. And by the time you circle back, that spot might be done. So it's a make this decision now moment. That's what a flash sale is. It's like, now is your chance.
Okay.
Okay, and then every day I want you to Voxer me after lunch and give me an update.
Okay.
So this is built in accountability.
Best kind there is.
And like the Voxer check-in is more about enthusiasm. So I think a lot of people, when they do this Voxer thing or you're a client, you tend to think of like your coach as the person you go to help put out fires or fix things or troubleshoot. But originally, when you're in this kind of a situation, really the focus needs to be, I'm coming with the results, I'm sharing the results because I'm creating results. This is like a sacred container where you're committed to initiating, doing follow-up, creating results. And it's like, hey, Rebecca, da 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 da, here's what's going on, here's where I'm at. It's not Voxering and being like, no one's doing this. And like, you get what you look for. And I'm not saying you're doing this, Lita, I know you're not, but I'm just kind of just sharing that as a side note. Because we can all fall into it. It's very easy to look for what's not working or what's missing. We've been conditioned for eons
To look at our problems.
to look for lack or
Yeah.
look for scarcity. So it's like, how are we looking for abundance? How are we looking for opportunity? How are we looking for impact every single day? Every single day. So I have a feeling that you already know 2 people who want this today.
Yes, it's already come to mind.
So go make those 2 sales today. Now, the other thing I want you to remember as we're finishing up for the day is our jobs as leaders in our businesses is to hold people and see them in their highest selves, the highest version of themselves. That's part of the transformation. That's the reason why someone's hiring you, because they don't yet have that level of confidence and conviction about their health and their ability to do it. When people have doubt and they have objections to anything you're offering to them, it always comes back to, I don't trust myself.
Yeah.
That's what their conviction is actually about. But too many people personalize it and make it about them, and then they don't know how to be a masterful salesperson. So if you know how to depersonalize and recognize actually what's happening here is this person is doubting their ability because they've felt like they've failed so many times in the past. And so that's where we had talked about this before. This is a new opportunity. This is something you've never done before. Therefore, you can't possibly manifest the same perceived failures that you have in the past. That's the level of conviction that you have to go to on these connection calls with these people in order for them to believe in themselves enough to make that investment. Because it's not about you or your product or service. It's about them believing in themselves enough to know that they can do this time because of who you are and what you're offering and your partnership with one another. So whenever you're reaching out to someone, video chat, in person, I'm going to give you an order of highest level of sales conversion. It would be in person, which is a little wonky still for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Second would be a video conference like this. Third is phone call. And fourth would be a Voxer or like a voice, memo-ish. Like, everyone knows what a voice memo is. Not a, I'm leaving you a message on your voicemail. I don't even know people who leave voicemails anymore. Like, if you don't get somebody, generally you're going to text them or leave them a voice memo, right? Like, we've evolved from the whole like voicemail thing, I think. Every time yeah. I mean, every time I've left a voicemail, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I not just texting the person? Be like, hey, I'm trying to reach you. When can you talk? And you can be that bold. You can be that bold. Like the same way that you would be bold with your other half. That's how bold you have to be. Like we don't have any problem speaking up to our husbands or our wives or whomever or children, right? Yeah. It's like, excuse me, no, I told you to clean up. You can be that bold with your clients that you're trying to help, everyone. So that's the order of greatest level of connection. And people are really longing for connection right now. I mean, we have just had such a lack of it for a long, unnecessary time period. So remember that that's part of an asset that you're providing too.
Yes.
Okay, what did you find most valuable during our time together?
Today, the conviction and the queen bee. From end to end, the visual, like drawing it in, right? And acting from here in this point and placing yourself in that place now.
Totally. So I just want to point out something in case this is of value to anyone watching, and then we'll wrap up. I wanted to just note like something that I have observed about you. I may not have even have ever shared this to you, but like people watching this might be like, well, Lita looked like she wasn't 100% sure about the number one takeaway. And there have been times where we've had sessions and you're like, I'm not sure right now. What I want to point out that's really important for each of us to know about ourselves or as masterful coaches to know about our clients is how they process information. So a new coach or a green coach, if you will, might be like, oh my gosh, what the hell? This was a shitty session. My client didn't have an answer for me. And they're personalizing things. The highest level of mastery is literally to take nothing personally, nothing, because it's never about you anyways. You will live your life from such a different frequency if you can master that one thing. And it is daily, ongoing, minute by minute work. But because I know that different people process things differently, and if you don't believe this, go to Human Design if you're not familiar with what Human Design is and check it out. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. I do know the people that created it, but my point is that then I get to honor that about Lita because it's a sacred part of who she is. But when you know that about yourself, then you can go to your clients or your family and just kind of do what I call prefacing, where it's like, you know, just so you know, I'm a person that takes time to process through things. And so it's never just a one-shot conversation. I'm going to come back after I've processed through the information. Me, on the other hand, I feel like my brain is like a supercomputer, and it's not, I'm a better than or worse than kind of situation. It's just how I process information. It's like so quick. It just is how I'm designed differently. It doesn't make someone better or worse or whatever. It's all about just, it's a different organism. It's a different computer processing system. And what you have is exactly what God designed for you and the gifts that you bring in this world. But it's really important to honor that about yourself. So I know I kind of put you on the spot, and I know that typically it, you know, you like to digest and savor it to a certain degree, and then you'll come back and be like, you know, wow, this was really out of this world, and this you know, that kind of thing. So you know, it's really important to honor that. All right, my dear, well, before we go, because I think this will make a really cool picture.
I definitely need to
For
go
the story.
around.
up here is like, I'm so bad at taking selfies or in the mirror. I always block my face. So I'm getting Austin, my 15-year-old, to help out. So you won't see my face in this, maybe. I don't know. Let's see here. There, that's better. Because I have a mirror right here. So it's like I've got the camera, and then I haven't even looked up here to see that, but I thought it would make a cool picture for a story, and then I can link it to the video to share and help facilitate other people doing their 72-hour sales. So key is, notice how it wasn't like, oh yeah, it starts Wednesday. It's like, no, you start selling now.
Yeah.
You got this. You totally got this.
Yes, I
So,
do.
yeah. And I like the numbers that you sent to me, and I would round them up by $1 so they're even.
Okay.
Because this is not an infomercial from the 1990s. This is like claiming your investment amounts.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
All right. I will get this recording over to you, and I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and we'll be boxering very soon.
Thank you. You guys too. Thanks, guys.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.